When it comes to extreme weather, we know our plants take a beating, but so does our home. Joe Bainey from John Moore Services is here with what to look out for now and how to prevent the next weather emergency. And look out for it now before small things become big things. Houston, oftentimes we focus on the heat, but the reality is we get a lot of extremes in weather.
Right. So we get the heat, so we're pretty used to that. We're not built for the cold. And so just these little bitty snaps really put our house under a lot of stress. And so we've had a couple of days. Really last night into this morning was probably the longest period. Mm-hmm. And it's when we usually see the most damage to homes that aren't taken care of or prevented.
And you say that critical word, we usually see, you can see, oftentimes we don't see, because sometimes pipes can be burst and they're between the walls. We don't know that.
Yeah. So as we start to warm today, and we're going to warm today, we'll get up, and if your house froze, it doesn't mean anything's broken, but it means, holy cow, we need to pay attention, right?
Yeah.
And so as it starts to thaw out, that's when you're going to start to see the damage. And when a pipe bursts, I mean, it's a big crack in the pipe. It's not going to be a small little drip.
Yeah.
And so, pay attention as we start to thaw out. If you hear something or you think something, call a pro over there. Let's take a look.
Water pressure issues?
Yeah, water pressure issues would be a big one. As we move, and we've got another freeze coming this weekend, mm-hmm. right? And so, people have asked, well, do I take the things off that are protecting my outside pipes? No, leave it on, right?
Yeah.
But you do want to check, right? So some of the things that we overlook as a homeowner are usually outside, and it's that small drip at a faucet, that small drip at the sprinkler system or whatever, that it's not broken and it's not spraying water anywhere.
And it's outside.
And it's outside yet, right? So if we freeze again next weekend, those leak spots become weak spots and are the first things that freeze, and now we can have big damage the second time around.
Another thing that's out of sight, out of mind for us, of course, is the roof, where a lot of other things can start as well.
Not just the roof, the attic, right? And so you get up in your attic, because a lot of people in Houston, we have our water heaters in the attic too, right? And so there can be connection spots up there that maybe did get put some stress on some of the gaskets or fittings or the valves around the water heater, and they can start to slowly leak too. So
and a lot of that could have been weakened to begin with. This was just a thing that put it over, right?
Yep.
Unless you're getting your home looked at. How many times a year would you have your home looked at?
At least 3 or 4, really. So you've got different systems, right? So the HVAC and heating system once each.
Yeah.
You should have a plumbing inspection, which should take care of your water heater to make sure that it's flushed and it's good maintenance. And then your panel. A lot of people forget about panels, right? The electric system.
What are you talking about?
Yeah, the electric system, right? And so, it's one of the most crucial things. If we don't have power, we talked about this earlier, the loss of power is what made the freeze of 21 so bad, right?
Right, because all pipes would not have burst if you had warm air going through the home, right?
Yeah.
All right, let me back up a second. Let's talk about John Moore Services.
Okay.
And the history of the company and what all you do. Because it started out kind of taking care of one thing, but realize people constantly need things addressed throughout the entire home.
Right, so started in 1965 by John Moore as a plumbing company, and a small plumbing company. And then as we matured and grew with Houston, we wanted to become a whole home solution for customers, right? And so today, currently, we do plumbing, electric, HVAC, pest control, lawn care, renovations, remodelings, standby generators.
If it has to do with the home, you're going to move into decor services.
we want to be that company for our customers, right? We just want to take care of the whole home for you.
Yeah, make one call and you get to know your people, the whole bit.
Absolutely.
All right, so post-freeze first checks, and so you're right, it's going to still be really cold throughout the week, but just walk the perimeter.
Yeah, walk the perimeter. It's again, out of sight, out of mind stuff. Is you just want to make sure that we've weathered the storm well and everything is working fine. And if you've got good pressure inside and you're not hearing water leaks, okay, you're probably good inside. Check the outside. Make sure you don't have any of those little drips that are going to be a huge problem this coming weekend.
Yeah, and a big one on the attic. I remember being up in the attic once. Very rarely am I up in the attic, and then I saw like mold, and I thought, if there's mold, there's moisture.
Right.
If there's moisture, something's going on, right?
Yeah. The other thing that people don't realize too is you get ice setting on the roof, and then it'll melt down. And I know we have rains and that kind of stuff, but it can also start to show some issues with your roof. You might have a roof leak here or holes and gaps that need to be sealed.
Yeah, all right. And then of course, if you suspect a leak, some things you can do immediately to kind of mitigate the circumstances.
The first thing, know where your shutoff valve is, right? I mean, you should have one at your house, and if you don't know where that's at and can't find it, you do have one at the meter at the street. So know how to shut it off, know where they're at. So first sign of a leak, you can shut that off. There'll still be a little bit of damage, but you're not going to ruin your whole house with a leak.
It's one thing to recognize a problem, it's another thing to be able to fix it. And one thing that John Moore is adamant about is having technicians who are highly trained.
Absolutely.
And who's coming into the home?
Yeah,
What do you all go through to make sure?
So the plumbing license law in Texas is pretty tough, right? So you have to be 2 years as an apprentice before you can be in someone's home by your own. So we have an apprentice program. We bring them on. I think I have 17 there now. Wow. And we're training them. So we got a 2-year training period, and then we move them into an install spot so we can watch their work, and then we can move them into a service area and teach them how to talk to customers and handle situations. And so there's a lot of time invested in these guys developing their careers at John Moore.
Yeah, and one of the things that people so appreciate is just a transparent quote, understanding how much we're going to pay for something.
So the key piece is once you learn plumbing's easy.
Yeah.
People are hard, right? And so we have to teach people how to have a conversation, and our ultimate goal is to be able to go into a customer's home and let them understand what's going on and the different things they can do to correct it. You can do this and this and this. What do you want to do? And then we do that for you.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, all right. You all are also great corporate citizens. You do a lot of things in the community. You are one of our partners in the MLK Scholarship Fund campaign, so we can raise scholarships money for students, or at least 50, who are going off to seek their higher education.
Yep.
How important is that to you all to be that connected to the community? You have a history here.
Yeah. We are a Houston partner. We love this city. It's been incredibly good to us, and so we're trying to return the favor as much and as often as possible. And I think when we talk about the scholarship program, the key word is investment, right? There's not a plumber or an HVAC tech or an electrician in town that somebody didn't invest time into that kid so he could learn a trade. And we want to invest in the youth. The youth is our future. It's what they're gonna be taking care of us one of these days, right? And
absolutely.
So let's invest in the youth, and it's super important to us and John Moore to.
And when we say higher education, I mean, sometimes people think it's the 4-year university or whatever, and going on to grad school. Higher education is also the trades, as we've heard so much about, because who do we need in that emergency? Who do we rely on for our livelihood and our, just basically our life, right?
Yeah.
The convenience of life, and it's going to be the services, the trades.
It's just investment, right? I mean, in whichever direction the kid wants to go, there are kids that are built for college and kids that aren't, and we need both. And so we invest in our youth at our company, and we want to invest in the youth in Houston that want to go a different direction, and we just want everybody to do better.
Yeah, all right. Well, thank you so much for joining us today. And to learn more about their services and also get tips, you can visit johnmooreservices.com, johnmooreservices.com, or give them a call at this number, 713-853-9881. Again, that's 713-853-9881.